made an official sign-in sheet.
Woo.
Everybody can sign up.
Really? Every day.
Jana, here's my card. I'll be back. I'm Lacey.
I'm Jana.
Nice to meet you.
Really great to meet you all. I really like that jacket.
Thank you. It's really comfortable.
Good to drive in and travel in. Since I'm a hop, skip, and jump away, I'll get my cards before the end and dole them out.
I will do the same. I'm Lisa Reed. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So I never look at the weather, but this fog.
That's why it was a nightmare this morning. A, the Bayway, I mean, you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you. And B, super random, there was a vending machine on
In the middle of the
side,
interstate?
on the Bayway.
Whoa.
It was the weirdest thing too, because it was like, there was a truck, and it was in front of the truck. But it was empty. That's the other thing. It was open and it was empty. But of course, everybody, their mother's brother, slammed on their brake, and they were like,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, look.
And,
Bayway's not one of my favorite places. I bought a tire on vacation on the Bayway.
no.
But fortunately, I was almost to the Ralph and Cuckoo's exit, which is,
Spanish Fort.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was just right there. I was able to get off without doing any damage, and I carried stuff to change it. And 3 o'clock in the morning, there's not a lot of people who come out and help you.
Oh, man.
3 in the morning?
Yeah, it was heavy.
Oh. Oh, no. You poor thing.
Yeah, I take that drive every day, morning and night. I still live in West Mobile, so fun times for me.
And my sister lived in Sims for many years before
Wow.
they came over here.
Okay, do we want to get started while the sign-in sheet's going around and we can turn on the recording?
Is that everybody? Do we have everyone here? Mm-hmm. Can we shut the doors? Or,
We good?
Oh,
Okay.
that's fine, because we're,
okay.
I think we've all met, but we can go around the room if you'd like. Introductions.
It's fine.
I'm Kristen Hewell with the County Attorney's Office.
Scott Nash with Escambia County Jail.
Jason Santos from Milford, work annex.
John Sawyer, Escambia County Corrections.
Chris Smith, Escambia County Corrections.
I'm Alan Miller with the Florida PBA.
Lee Tyree with Florida PB.
Lacey Corona with Nelson Mullins, legal counsel for PBA.
Floyd Dipple, Escambia County Corrections.
Keith Miller, Escambia County Corrections.
Bonnie Wilson, work annex.
Chief Judge Paul.
and who are you with?
All of it.
And your shirt is correct today, right? You got the right shirt on, so, okay.
Charles Snow, Road Prison Commander.
Jana Still, the HR Director for Escambia County.
Janice Gilly, administrator.
Well, so how do you want to start?
Well, you asked us last time to come up with a proposal. We have one. Yeah, this would be for your guys' team
Okay.
to look at. I think I need one, actually. I need you all.
Oh, okay, that's fine. And did you want to go over, were there any of the articles that we previously presented that you wanted to go over?
Well, we went through this document, and there's a lot of them that we're okay with, and there's a lot of them we're not okay with.
Okay.
So, I mean, it will take some time to go through that. It seems like this whole document has a lot of things that we are kind of giving away, and our main concern is to fix the salary, in our opinion. So we would, of course, like to start with that. Are y'all authorized to negotiate with salary, or, I mean, I know there was a question last time.
So anything related to salary, I have to take to the board and have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And so we would have to do the analysis of what the cost of this would be.
Right.
So from a negotiation standpoint, it would be something that we would have to do the dollar analysis.
Right.
And then I would express that to the commissioners, and then they would give me the authority to come back and have that conversation.
Well, if you like, we could probably go through and tell you the articles that we have no problem with and the articles we have
Okay.
problems with, if you want to go that route.
Would that be
Sure.
Is everyone
Yeah.
okay with that?
Why don't you-
Okay.
Well, at least go over this to where they totally
So it's
understand.
recorded?
Yeah, so it's recorded and it's.
Okay.
It's fairly simple. We think the problem is, and we think the BOCC has done a great job as far as giving 3% for the last, 7 years? But the problem is, you have, our starting pay is too low for the area. It used to be that we used to talk about, well, if you can go across the bridge and get more money, of course, most of your employees probably already live across the bridge. Santa Rosa specifically is starting at 40 and some change this year with their correction officers and law enforcement officers. And when you can start out $5,000 more, it makes it a problem at hiring and retaining, because even if they can't get on with Santa Rosa right at the get-go, they give them a bonus to come over trained. And I think what's kept y'all afloat as far as getting manpower is going to be the fact that state's correction has been terrible as their pay, but they're slowly picking it up. And my understanding is this year, they're getting, 1,500 across the board more? Isn't that what we have negotiated with the state?
Some of them are getting 1,500. People with more than 5 years are looking at more than 4,000.
So, that avenue where you have a higher pay amount starting here with the county than the state, and the fact that you have some nice little perks that, DORs and stuff like that, which is also one of the things y'all want to take away, makes it, attractive to come here. But if we take away that stuff and the pay is not as good, then what's the draw? And I think we all have the same goal in mind. We want a fully staffed jail, especially when we got a new jail coming. And we want our employees and members happy at work with the benefits they get, and feel like that they have adequate employees around them to help them should things go bad. So.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this last time. Safety is extremely important. And so making sure that the staffing is right is part of that safety. And I think making sure that everyone has maybe different opportunities to manage their schedule, I think is going to be important as well. So there are things that I understand that you think we're taking away, but I also think there are things that if there are other ways to look at them in such a way that we make sure that we do have a fully staffed, jail.
Right.
Or a work annex. I still want to call it the road camp.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, you know what I'm saying. So, yeah. So I think we can all agree on that. Safety is one of our number one goals for making sure that the officers are all in that position. So, that's why I'm saying I think that you may perceive things as us taking things away, but I think from our perspective, we're looking at it as a way to either make sure that we provide opportunity for full staffing.
Okay.
So,
Well, the plan is pretty simple. We want to raise your starting pay. We want to keep maintaining that 3% build, which, if you go back to all the gripes and complaints, I've been here at the county for 23 years. And I remember those years of no raises and how it hurt everything. And we know the economy will eventually go down, because it always does. So while we can still have this rise, we were hoping to do a gradual increase of the starting salary and maintain the COLA. Our proposal would be $2,000 in October 2020, along with a 3% COLA, and then just repeat it for the next 3 years of this contract. So basically, at the end of it, you would be looking at $40,900, which is just slightly ahead of what Santa Rosa is going to be. It's still below what the deputies here will be at that point, but we think it's a step in the right direction, and we think that's a good approach for it.
well, I appreciate your comments about it too.
And then there are two proposals out for state corrections. One is a total of, for those people over 5 years, is 4,000. The second proposal brings it up to 5,000, so.
Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that I understood that the state was also looking to go to 8-hour shifts versus 12-hour shifts.
There is a lawsuit out there that has been won by the PBA that's going to return everybody to 12-hour shifts. The problem with the 8-hour shifts is the officers are never guaranteed a weekend off. A lot of them will have Monday, Tuesdays, a lot of them will have Wednesday, Thursdays, or combination thereof, and only the chosen few will have Saturday and Sunday.
If you go to an 8-hour shift?
If you go to 8 hours,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All right. Well,
All right.
thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. And then you want to start with articles, or how you
Yeah,
want to?
that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody got a copy? All right, well, we went through it. We didn't have any problem with Article 1. Or 2.
Do you want a TA thing?
You want to go through it once, and then if we're ready, yeah, let's go through it once. 2, no issues. 3, no issues.
Well, we may have to change the dates, right, based on,
Yeah, I think that's.
yeah, that's the only, okay, let's make sure technically we
Yeah.
were, okay.
Okay, on Article 4, we still want to look at 4.06.
Okay.
Article 5. We have an issue with 5.10. We're not in agreement with that section of that article. Right? I'm sorry, I wrote these each page, so
Oh, no,
I'm
that's
gonna have to go
fine.
through each one.
That's fine. Can I ask you on 510?
Yeah.
You don't have to clarify, so if you're not comfortable doing that, but is it because you do want hard copies? Is it related?
It could be
'cause-
electronic copies,
Okay,
Yeah.
but they need to know,
yeah, so we need to tell you, yeah.
because they're paying the piper to two different things. They have the DOC policies, and then they have the county policies,
Yeah,
where typical county employee just has the county policies
Yep.
and a departmental policy, but there's a lot of state statutes and stuff, and they just need to be able to keep up electronic copies if they have access
all right,
to
so
it.
Well, it's all available on the HR website.
So if we designated here for you where electronically it would be provided, that's your, I just want to make sure
Yeah,
that was your,
that's
I
our
thought
issue.
that might be the,
Yeah.
okay. So we would need to just designate in here where we provide it electronically, if that's an option. Because the printing of it, would be the,
Because any changes to that affect terms and conditions fall under the negotiations.
And I think some of these that we're going to have an issue with are y'all trying to clean up some language. And we're just trying to make sure of that in some of these.
yeah.
It'll
So
come
you
on
want to
later.
guarantee that you still get the information.
Right.
It's the medium isn't.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to, I thought that's what you were,
Yeah.
when I reread it, I was thinking the same. I thought-
Well, and I think that concern is addressed in other articles in terms of if the board's going to change a policy, then I think it's standard that HR notifies, the affected employees, the union. And then it's the burden's on the union to say, we demand impact bargaining if that's appropriate.
Oh, and we will, but-
So, but I think that's what I'm saying is I think that's addressed in another article.
And that's fine if it is. We're just asking for clarification, because in the turnover transition period that we have been through,
Yes.
since this started, I've gone through 3 HR directors. Hopefully, we won't go through another one.
I'll hang in there.
Stick around.
You haven't met her.
And that came from the administrator, not the union.
If you go still in this same article, 5.13, Section B, where you're asking for 4, we would like to counter 6 on that and let y'all find out if y'all are okay with that. Okay, Article 6. We have an issue with 6.03, Section C.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes on both pages there.
Okay.
If you go to step 2, we were thinking about removing the merit protection since nobody ever uses it. I mean, it's kind of a waste. If nobody ever uses it, why is it in here?
So you're saying get rid of letter C under step 2?
Where it offers about the Merit System Protection Board, I mean, it's really, it's,
But that is an available alternative.
We're not going to use it.
yeah.
Wouldn't that in part be the decision for the individual as well?
If they're PBA, we're paying for the arbitration.
Right, but I think, doesn't this give the option to the individual to be represented or not? And if they're not represented, that may be their decision.
It's not going to be
So
a
it may
deal
not have
breaker to us.
happened
If
in-
y'all really want to keep it, it's not a deal breaker for us, though. We just thought it was a little bit,
Yeah, I understand your
Unnecessary.
point. I
Yeah.
did want to tell you, though, that we have had another case in another area where MSPB might be an option for an employee, so it just,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's your call. It's your-
And I think
but-
it's been our problem with the Merit Protection Board, is they're either up or down. They have no ability to modify a punishment or do anything. It's either yes or no.
Okay, well, we'll look at that then for you.
all right.
So
That
just to
finishes?
be clear,
Okay.
you were saying under step 2, the MSPB, and under step 3, under arbitration, the MSPB?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure I got that noted right. Thank you.
All right, so we go to Article 7. Let's see. So we have 7.03. We had a couple of things on here. We want a little bit of clarification. This is one of those that I'm wondering if you're just trying to mark some of the stuff out that's under 112 anyway, but we didn't like the 24-hour.
I'm sorry, what letter?
You have a request in C. A requested officer
Yeah, I
has
see.
been given 24 hours to contact, consult with, and secure attendance by a PBA representative. We'd like to counter that to 48 hours. Give a little bit more wiggle room. I mean, we can try to do the 24, but it's kind of tight sometimes.
I think that's what's currently in the contract,
48,
24.
24?
I didn't change that.
Yeah, we'd like to propose that change then.
Okay, so you're proposing a change.
Yes, yes. And when you say this, all complaint information, you're talking about confidential from the officer or the public on C?
Well, once it goes into investigation, it's confidential until it's public record.
Until,
after
yeah.
the investigation's closed.
So I'm looking at the notes I have on here, I don't remember each one. So this is just housekeeping. Yeah, we're kind of wondering if you scratched out 12, just because it's guaranteed under 112. Is that why that D is out of there, or,
Oh, under that.
yeah, D?
Yeah, it's all covered within 112.
So you're just kind of housekeeping this, kind of limit, okay. And that's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure clarification on that. All right, that seems to be all right. Then we would like just the proposal on the 48 hours, just give us a little more wiggle.
Thank you.
The very last page of this, it's section 7.04. You have scratched through E, and we're not in agreement with that.
Okay, this is, it's weird how it,
E.
It goes from D to
it goes A and
yeah,
F
it
at
is
the
kind
bottom.
of- Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have E at the bottom there. I don't know why, but
I guess because it was removed.
that lettering probably all needs to be fixed, but I mean, that's what's marked on this sheet.
So you're saying you would like that, you're not
Yeah, we would like that to stay, not be
Reinstated.
scratched out, yeah.
Because if
We'll
anybody's
see. We'll have
facing
to look at it.
discipline,
Just-
112 says they have a right to representation at any level.
And that may have
Well,
been
then
scratched
that's why-
because it was
And that's why-
Because
previously,
it's covered in the statute.
So it's housekeeping?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Just
get
You
you.
have to follow the statute.
Well, I understand that, we're just making sure.
Okay.
It's called due diligence.
Yeah, I put clarification at the bottom of this
Thank you.
agreement, so that was what that was.
So we're good with keeping it removed if.
Yes, if that's all the intention was housekeeping, we're fine with that. Okay, so we go to Article 8. And I see no mark-offs on Article 8, so we're okay. Article 9, I don't have any marks on Article 9, so we're in agreement there. Article 10, we have nothing marked on it, so we're in agreement with that one. Same thing. I got a clarification on 12.
Okay.
And my note says, we want to make sure that their time that with the SO is counted on there, and I don't know if that actually, it says all transferred will have you're taking out that part, and we think it should count for seniority if they were COs in the sheriff's office. It should count. So we're taking that out in the B, on jail division.
Last sentence.
Yeah.
About 99% sure that all the seniority was transferred over.
It is.
Yeah.
It was transferred over.
Okay. So you're saying it's just a housekeeping, you're getting rid of it because it's already
Because
in
it's
there?
already been incorporated.
Okay, I'm fine with that then.
So you're fine with Article 12 then?
Yeah.
Okay, with that clarification?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We had a counter on Article 13,
Okay.
F. We think,
13.02.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
13.02F. Instead of it being 50%, we would like to see if you would add in the line of duty if it could be 100.
That's if somebody dies in the line of duty,
Yeah.
that they would get 100% of their payout.
Okay. So it would just be additional language to
Yes,
letter
right.
F? Okay,
Just an additional sentence.
okay.
Well, this provision's specific to a case where an officer
Just dies.
dies in the line of duty. So in that case,
It would be from 50% to
to 100.
Yes, yes.
I think that's it's not, God willing, it's not going to happen very often, hopefully never.
I
But if
agree.
it does happen, anything we can do for the family, I mean, we've done some provisions in state statutes that are out there that says they get 100% of their salary, their spouse will get the 100% of their salary. But anything that you can do for a family that's had the ultimate sacrifice, I mean, let's face it, here recently, we've gotten real close a couple times.
Well, we had the recent situation with our firefighter.
Exactly.
I have a note here next to 13.06.
Okay?
Sorry,
Pardon me?
where you at?
13.06.
13.06.
Stress leave.
Yes. I think the problem was what was coming out of the officer's own leave balance and not an admin leave type thing. It shall be with pay in order. You're scratching out the near-death officer.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, I'm trying to remember. You know, we went through all these a couple of times, and I'm trying to remember what exactly why I have the.
It stressed him out, so he
Yeah.
has to go back and look at his
I need a
notes.
day.
Yeah, he needs a day.
This is if an officer involved in a
Yeah.
critical incident.
Yes,
That involves
yeah.
a death or serious injury. It says on here, you're going to give them 1 day off.
That's what's in the contract, I believe.
Well, and
I
we're,
just clarified because
Yeah.
it said a day, and so I
Yeah.
said 1 day.
well, and we're saying, or we want a counter proposal, I guess, then it would be the appropriate language, that it's whatever the appropriate thing, because you're going to wind up, you need to send some of these people, if they discharge a weapon and they hit somebody or whatever, they need to be off on admin leave, they need to go see EAP. That's been standard practice at the sheriff's office for years and years. It gives them a chance to talk to somebody about it prior to bringing them back to work.
Okay.
Sheriff's office, it's usually a minimum of about 2 weeks before Dr. Bingham will clear them. It's not going to happen very often, but different people react different ways. And I've seen that in the jail, having worked there for as many years as I did. When you have a suicide, some people it doesn't bother them, some people it bothers them tremendously.
Okay.
So administrative leave actually is different than what this is in terms of administrative leave can be awarded for
Yeah.
extenuating circumstances. So it wouldn't
Exactly.
pull from their accruement.
Yeah.
It would be additional leave. This is literally just an additional, hey, you get a day regardless of how you
Yeah.
feel about anything.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question in terms of it is covered?
It is covered.
Yeah, it's covered by administrative leave,
Right.
what you were talking about.
All
I
right.
would think that the chief has the discretion clearly,
Yeah.
to grant administrative leave under appropriate
Yeah,
circumstances.
and just to give you an example, so recently with the NAS shooting, Mr. Madry made some decisions based on the crews that responded on how he gave them some leave following that. So we do give the department directors and division managers that opportunity. So I just,
And I know the chief understands because he's been in the business long enough. He knows how some people can
I agree, I agree.
like water off a duck's back, and then some is.
But we did it for dispatch, and you know what I'm saying? So we have, unfortunately, in my 6 months, we've had to deal with both of these situations. Someone down the line of duty, and then having to provide opportunities for folks to, take a little time to get over a pretty traumatic situation, so.
And then any qualifying event, the federal regulations on leave kind of step in terms of FMLA and even ADA if it's severe mental.
So those wouldn't be a paid day.
Well, for FMLA, you're
It's all
right, yeah.
dependent on circumstances.
Yeah.
I mean, this one day, based off the statute right here, or this contract, gives them that initial day to coordinate other results. That way they're not expected to return right.
Yeah.
So one day, just a buffer, if it was a buffer,
Yeah, we're on state.
Yeah.
What if it said at least one day there?
Uh-huh.
Because-
Oh, I see what you're
because
saying, at
talking
least one, that
about-
way you'd have the time for the coordination and the,
Right, and discretion and that sort of thing.
okay. So that would be a
I
counter
think
for us
it
to
would be.
consider.
Yeah, and I think it would all be considered we'd code it under admin leave regardless.
That was it for 13. We have a proposal on 14. My understanding is the officer's personal firearms are stored at work, and should something like a jail explosion occur, like we had in the past, we wanted something in there to cover their weapon should that
Yeah.
occur.
Okay, so you'll be providing a counter there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And hopefully that never happens either.
I know, I mean, these are things that you would
Yeah.
have never thought, 10 years ago.
It's covered at the bottom, last statement there. It's at the discretion.
Yeah, discretion, yeah.
Johnny says you paid $1,000 for a Glock, you got
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah.
By the time I get it decked out.
Yeah.
Laser scope.
install them.
Could they put a laser scope on a Glock? I mean, yeah, I guess you could. Infrared. Okay.
We had there's no changes on 15 either, so.
Okay.
and, 16, we had no problems with. Article 17, yeah, 17.03, we're not in agreement with that.
I understand,
Yeah.
I understand, but I do look forward to the conversation, so let us.
Well, we have a shift that just went mission critical and canceled all their leave. I don't think there's a time frame of how long for them to have their leave canceled, so the only day they're going to have off will be their day of rest. They
Okay.
currently have the option, if they'd like to come in and work their day of rest for overtime.
Okay.
with our
Which shift
employees.
is that?
B.
I'm sorry?
B shift.
I think I have a note here to clarify on B, right above 17.103. So B of 17.02. Let me read it to remember what the clarification was for. I mean, it's understandable to me. I'm not sure why we had an issue with that.
I don't have anything on that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're good with B.
Okay, thank you.
Article 18, we're not in agreement with 1801.
Any of it?
No.
Okay, all right,
We're doing A, no. B, no.
okay,
The D is the no.
okay.
I think that's, I guess, aimed to get rid of overtime for training. Is that basically what this, no? Let's see how it means, session and training sessions scheduled at least 21 days. No, it should be regular hours. So right now, currently, if you do training,
Now, this is reference to a meeting that gets called. Remember, we had that issue, so we give them at least 21 days notice, and it's a scheduled work hour, it's not compensated.
yeah, but it says or training sessions on there, and that's where we see the problem with it. So if it's training, you're going to schedule that out more than 21 days. If they got firearms training, which they currently are getting overtime for, that would be the issue on it.
Well, we put the language of training meetings / trainings, because that's what you asked for last time. So I have no problem scratching our training and call it meetings. So this was when I pulled all the lieutenants and sergeants together.
Right. Okay, if you can rework that one, I think that particular issue wouldn't be that.
Rework it. meaning
Well,
take out
get rid of the
word
training, yeah. Yeah, we want to make sure that that's not training that we're talking about. Basically, we want them still to be able to get overtime if they do the training.
Okay. Under consideration.
19, I think there's just really not any changes either, but we have no problem with it.
We're going to strike 20, aren't we?
Yes.
We're going to strike 20.
Imagine, right?
You just want Wild Wild West, don't you? A free-for-all.
That actually helps us at times.
I have a note under Article 21. It's again that thing about SO time, but I think that y'all have already answered that, so that probably is fine.
Oh, what letter? Make sure I'm,
21.02A,
okay.
years of service with the.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of already closed, so we can take that one away. It's quite a long one. And I think this is one where you moved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that one, I guess if we have a problem with it, we'll have the problem where you moved it. Let's see.
It's just the next article.
Yeah, so 21's fine, and then we're going to 22.
Oh, yeah, I see what, you created a new
Yeah.
one. That's right.
No, I just
You moved it to that one.
relocated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seemed to
Gotcha,
make more
that's right.
sense.
Yeah.
November 7th.
Okay, I have a note here under 22.03. No, I guess it's right next to 22.04 about add language for corrections. Let's see, there was some kind of. Oh, do you have a note on that one? No, just skip that one.
The supervisory path for the
Yeah.
lieutenant? Okay,
We're fine with it.
okay.
What do you have on C? I don't know, we went through this one, base probationary period. Yeah. The last one of this section, which is 22.08, section C, I have a discuss, but I don't see any other notes on that. Let me see what the problem was on this one.
Oh, I see. You merged C and D,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it became C, the new
Right.
C? Okay.
Okay, yeah, no. I don't
Versus
see a
having
problem
two
with that.
separate divisions?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And we would like to keep Article 23, where y'all have it getting
Okay.
deleted, or is that just I mean, we like it there. It's
That's-
obviously still there.
Covered by state law.
Yeah,
It doesn't need to be in the contract.
makes us
It's
feel
under-
better.
Yeah.
So you want to keep it?
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll
it's
take
a
it under
little better.
advisement.
We don't have any control over the
Right.
Florida retirement system, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So it shouldn't be in the contract, quite frankly.
And take this, you know how they would consider expanded drop?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to happen or not.
Yeah,
This says 5 years.
yeah,
We could reword it to where it says
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever the state statute apply,
Right.
state statute or something, it makes us feel a little more comfortable.
Okay, I appreciate that.
The thought of taking it out of the contract made us like, ugh.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at that, because the state law says you get 500 hours, you can sell back. We take that out, they're going like, okay, that way.
Yeah,
I
Because they
understand.
can easily find this.
Yeah.
They can't easily go to state
State
statute
statute.
and find
Right.
anything.
Well, and it's also in our, I believe in county HR policy.
It is, but it's,
The drops.
I mean, if you, for an informational standpoint, it's, you know.
We take it under
We can look
advisement.
at that.
there was no changes on 24, and we had no issue with 24. Same thing with 25. I guess we're getting rid of 26, it's not needed, and we're fine with that.
I think all of it's been paid out.
Yeah,
Yeah, we confirmed that, actually.
I got a blank sheet for appendix, I guess that was the appendix for that, what was that?
Use check.
Allen Thuck?
Yeah, your form, we would just put your form.
Oh, yeah, okay. BOC pay schedule, I got blank.
That's with the pay grades.
Yeah.
That's what,
When we go to assignment pays, we're going to go to Appendix C. We have a note here for jail work crew leader, but to me, I know what you're saying. But is that what you titled the guys?
jail work crew leader?
Yeah, I guess is that what you call them?
That's what we call
Two that
them.
we have going on.
Yeah, the grass cutting crew? Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that. When we go down here to the bottom part, we had a counter. Our guys were interested in a return. Where's my camp guy?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Lonnie and,
Yeah, they would like a return to the raise rather than the assignment pay. So I will throw it out there.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
You lost me.
I know, we're lost. I'm sorry, we're trying to understand, but,
Back,
It's
So
a
is
deeper
it
conversation.
something at the
Yeah.
bottom of this
Okay.
page that?
but you
well,
Steve and Nat, Snow, y'all understand that? Okay, as long as you understand what they're saying, y'all can explain it when we're,
yeah, they know.
okay. It's just a history, I don't know, I must. Okay,
All right. We're okay with those E and Fs going away. I don't have anything on G, so we're good with that. It looks like it's all struck through. And that's it. The last 22 is all struck through too.
Okay.
So we did it. We went through it all.
wow.
Yay.
I really appreciate that.
No problem.
I really do appreciate that.
Get down to the,
Thank you so much.
There.
So we, if you would let us, go and
Sure.
talk through your proposals, and I think you know where I am on the wage, like what I
Right.
can and can't do or say.
Yeah.
But we may want to, if y'all are in the mood, if you've eaten your Wheaties, maybe talk a little bit about the DOR when we come back. Maybe, is that okay? Was there something missing?
Did we
I brought it up there.
Oh, okay.
transferring sick leave to annual leave at the end of the year?
oh, yeah, we could add that proposal too.
Okay. What number?
I guess we
can write it.
have.
To be in the contract that was taken out.
Yes, we probably lost it when we were trying to battle to get this all stuff back. There used to be an option on your, once a year, if you had over 700 hours of sick leave,
Yeah, we-
you could transfer it
Yeah,
to you could transfer 40 hours of
Yeah,
annual
10
leave.
to PTO or whatever, yeah.
Right,
As long as you weren't over the balance on
right.
that.
We would like to have that option back.
It is part of HR's policy.
It is?
procedure, So it's for the whole and
So it
all
will
county
carry.
employees.
It's just not
So
the
we could
contract
make a
anymore.
note in there that
So you're saying this has been available the whole time we've been underneath the county?
I don't know how long
I
you've
was
been
saying,
under
I've
the
worked here
county.
since, I've worked here
She's been here 2 months.
November.
I like that deflect and redirect.
It's been available since November.
So the board did vote on it to,
80 hours.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that
think
was the
that's-
leave, but that was leave
the leave
buyback.
back.
Yeah.
That's a buyback.
Like,
That's
The other
a
one
buyback,
is we
which is
did
different.
I honestly don't know.
Okay, I will make sure, like
You can
specifically
transfer
when
it.
it was kind of put into place, but I do know that we do currently have a process of transferring that leave
Yes.
over.
And is there, I guess there's a form to fill out?
Yes, sir.
There is. It's a
It's an
paper
employee
form.
resource.
We'd love to get you an
I know when
electronic
we
form
do it
that
at
you
the
could
sheriff's office,
easily
you have a time
find.
limit, like a month prior or a month past, you have to have the paperwork in during that time is how we do it.
Yes.
It was news to me, honestly.
So we'd like to have a.
I was about to say, I can bring,
So what they're talking about is what exempt employees do when you're over on your, at the end of the year. Anything that's over on your annual leave,
yeah,
transfer to your sick leave. It's kind of the same thing.
Okay, we will get
Yeah,
clarification
we'll
for you.
At the sheriff's office, every employee can do
So
it.
that's not an exempt versus non-exempt
No,
thing at the.
no.
No, but it's classified versus
it is,
non-classified.
and
Yeah.
that doesn't,
Because
We currently have some officers with 20-some years, they got 2,300 hours sick leave. They're only gonna get paid out of max is
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
So they would really like to take, you know,
Well, I think the ones that I've seen, there are caps.
there are.
Yeah, there are
I'll-
caps.
We'll look into it and I'll get the actual policy so y'all can see the language that's involved and make
And we
sure
can
who it's
probably-
applicable to.
Incorporate
Yeah,
it.
That's
yeah,
why
we
it's
could
good when
probably
you have-
incorporate it for
Yeah, I
you
was gonna
to
say,
make sure that it's in your contract.
I think it'd be helpful to have a reference or, a
Yeah,
sentence that the county HR policy
yes.
applies to these employees, or something to that
Yeah.
effect, and then a direct.
And that way they could
reference.
use this as their reference to find it. Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
Real quick, I was just gonna ask, because some of the articles we did go through in detail in terms of what, proposals y'all had, but some of them, we didn't necessarily, it was just, like, the first one, 4.06, it's just that y'all were in agreement, but I don't know what part.
Okay.
In terms of, some of them we covered.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Before we go back, you want to
Yeah,
get clarification. Oh, they were going to review it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
He
That's
wants
what
to
it was.
review it.
I wanted to review
They're
it,
going to have
yeah.
Lacey
Yeah.
probably review it and make sure that it is actually just following. That was the only note on that one.
Yeah, I have Steph and Lacey. I have Steph and Lacey on that one.
Okay.
I think that was the only
Yeah, I
one
think we
that had-
started
okay.
covering the rest.
Yeah, we just find all the others. Okay.
So,
right, well-
what time is it? How much time do you want to, let's see, 9:14. If y'all give us about 45 minutes, can y'all give us until
Sure.
10?
Yeah,
Let us
yeah,
have
yeah,
that
yeah.
time. If we can be back earlier, we'll let you know, but let us go through this. You want me to go through? How you want to do this? Okay, I thought we'd go back through page by page so we could
Sure.
Make sure we're on the same.
make sure we're on the same page. Okay.
Okay.
So, 1 and 2, we're ready to TA that if we have a clean copy, if you are. Today's 15, right? I keep wanting to put the 20th.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I put 19 a while ago, the year. 2019.
I put, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
We'll hold number 3 because of the dates until we get the dates right,
Okay.
okay? Okay, and then I think Lacey was going to look at, on Article 4,
Yeah.
4.06.
Yes. So we're good with 4.06. For 4.04, we're good with the strike through of the 60 days. But the last sentence, we need to look at the rules and policy.
Okay, All right, so y'all want to review that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could we get an email link to that or something too? So I know that I'm looking at the right thing.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we're holding 4. All right, 5. Yeah, so we need to work on some language on 5.10 for you on electronic to make sure that we clarify that for you, that it will be provided and how, people will be able to get access, okay? In 5.13, we agree to 6. Change it from 4 to 6, so we agree to that. And 6, the grievance procedure. Letter C.
6 was the.
Yeah, the MSPB piece on letter C there. I don't remember that one.
Well,
It's
that's,
just, it was
yeah.
an
Letter C was-
explanation piece in terms of.
But C was okay, right? I had PBA had an issue with letter C.
well, we were talking about getting rid of the Merit System Protection Board language.
Yeah, on the
What-
next two, yeah.
We're not held to the fire on that one, though.
Okay, well, I would just prefer to leave it.
Okay.
Whether or not your members use it, it's still an opportunity that we do provide
Okay.
and there may be, but back on the very first one on letter C, I want to make sure
There's nothing wrong.
I had it circled, but maybe you didn't have any issues. Maybe once we talked through it, you didn't.
Yeah.
I think I circled that thinking you were talking about that.
Then maybe
sequence.
that, okay, now I feel, okay, because I was like, I don't want to go
Yeah.
past something if he had a problem with it.
Do we
Okay,
want
so
to
it
TA
does look
that?
like we can
Yeah.
TA that one. Let
Yeah,
me
we
get to the
can.
very end and make sure.
Let me find a clean one.
Yes. So we could TA that one then.
I think 7 had the counter from 24 to 48.
If that was the only thing in 7,
There's one in-
And E at the very bottom, the kind of mislettered thing at the very,
But it's in statute 112.
yeah.
Lacey, have you had time to look at that? It's letter E at the end of,
Oh, in 704?
yeah.
Okay.
Just making sure you were okay with that deletion, those.
Do we agree to the 48 hours?
We are agreeing to the 48 hours under letter C, 703C. And then at the very end under 704, where there was some,
Yes.
yeah, we just wanted to make sure that, because we had considered it housekeeping, but we wanted to make sure that you had signed off.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would prefer a reference to the statute.
Okay.
there.
It's referenced in the
D, letter D.
7.01B is
B.
referenced to the,
Yeah, and D.
it's referenced all over the place.
The multiple D.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, the lettering's got to be fixed on this one.
Yeah.
You got a DD.
Okay,
Well,
well,
there's a D that was stricken.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got you. Yeah, okay.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K.
So can you point me to where exactly E is represented then?
Let's
The
see.
E that's deleted?
Well, the statute is referenced.
Oh, so you're saying previously it would have been,
It's referenced.
So if you look at 7.01B is the, I guess, most general statement that the procedures provided in 112.532 and 533 shall apply to investigations conducted pursuant to this article.
Yeah, where your finger is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and then under A, let's see,
it's referenced in G.
I think it's referenced, yep.
It's referenced in
I
every
think each section, it does have the 112 reference. Well, let's just make sure let's make sure you're
Yeah,
comfortable
I'm
with
sorry,
it.
I'm still not seeing what E says
Somewhere else.
stated.
It's in the statute,
Which statute?
112.
112 what?
Well, there's 532 and 533.
Okay.
And I'd have to pull the statute, I'm not looking at it.
Well, we'll make sure that she's comfortable with that
Yeah,
language. So we might give her a little bit of time on
Yes,
that
I'm
one.
still not.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's do
Seeing that,
6.
seeing
I'll
that.
sign 6 if he's ready. Sign 6. Okay, here is 6 for you.
Fine.
All right, so we'll hold on 7 then a little bit to make sure that if you want to pull up the statute on 7 to get comfortable with that. So we'll just hold 7 for a minute. Okay.
Well, we'll have to revise it anyway, so we may as well address it next time.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
can do
we
that.
have to change
But we did
48.
agree to the 48, so you've all got that on record. Article 8. Yep, you said you were okay with 8? I've got a clean one at home. I'll just sign it. No, I don't have a clean one. I have a check mark. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, number 9. Thank you. There we go.
All right, thank you.
Okay. There you go.
10.
All right, 10, 11, I think y'all were good with that.
Yep.
There's your 11.
All right, thank you.
12, okay, we satisfied you on 12. May I sign this one?
Yeah, or you should. No, I think I did that one.
Thank you. So now I just got to ask, are there any LSU fans in here? How about that game? It was a good game. So I will tell y'all, I did wear black yesterday because it's my day of mourning after the end of college football season. I'm like, what am I going to do now?
We have a Pensacola boy that's playing for Clemson.
I know.
He did not play, but he's registered this year.
Uh-huh. Well, there was, oh, no, it was the pros I was watching. There was a guy, yeah.
His uncle just retired from the city police department, Clay Powell.
Oh, cool. Well, Clemson's a great team, and boy, they sure looked good, and I felt awful for Trevor Lawrence at the end. Well, I mean, listen, he's lost one football game in high school and one football game in college. Now, come on, that's a,
Don't feel too sorry, he's a millionaire.
Yeah.
what?
It'd be all right.
Very
Yeah.
soon.
Probably,
I think he'll get over it.
the estimation was a $20 million signing bonus.
Yeah, I do love his hair too, by the way. That's some nice hair. Uh-huh.
I do like Dabo.
Well, let's see, we just signed, okay, so we're now on 13.
We're holding 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to tell you this about 13. Don't hear letter F to 100% as a no, just hear it as because there's a financial obligation, I do need to have the conversation. So
Right.
that's why I want to make sure that I have that clarified. And then on 1306, though, we did agree with at least 1 day. So we do agree with that.
Okay.
Oh, did y'all want to yeah, were y'all going to counter on something related to the weapons, the personal weapons on 14?
Just to make sure it's included.
Yeah, I know the chief is saying that it's in there under other items. Could we add a IE firearms? Yeah, I think that would be it. That would cover.
So it'd be reimbursement value of items, other than
was
watches,
thinking
medical,
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, so you would say?
Yeah.
I.e. firearms?
firearms, yeah.
Is that common language in the,
We do change our
Able to do, or?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we include a firearm, we should probably put the limit to the watches.
Okay.
the glasses.
Oh, yeah, so we'll have to do some more stuff because.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would be smart, like, for things that you know would be present, to
Right.
include them.
Go ahead.
You know,
Yeah,
there's no reason to list everything under the sun, of course, but
Right.
something that you know for sure would be.
Okay, so
You
we'll
wanna
let you
counter?
we'll let you provide us with that. How about that? For consideration
Sorry,
next time.
keeping under,
I got a note, but
we're not
I
going to reimburse
see
it.
where we changed it.
For what?
Certain type of pistols are highly, so there needs to be a cap.
Cap.
Somebody decides where a camera.
Yeah, that's what I think they're saying is maybe put a cap.
Yeah.
And then that's helpful for the officers to know, too.
Yeah.
With the cap, so.
Won't bring that one in.
Well, I think the other thing too, just so you'll know, because we do deal with this in other parts of the county, some verification. So like if it is a firearm, I mean, the verification or the receipt
Like that
or
they
something.
had
Yeah, that you own
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because we have situations right now
We
where,
have
The
our
qualified,
authorized carry
yeah,
as well.
the
Yeah.
qualified firearm.
yeah.
okay, so whatever your language is, and
Well,
just,
it states upon proper documentation of the
Yeah.
amount.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, you do have to prove it.
Yeah, it would-
Okay.
if they qualify with a Glock, but they're trying to pull out the new 2020 Colt Python, that's not gonna fly.
I was thinking about getting it. Does that count?
personnel records?
That does come out this year. I know, I was looking at it. I'm not sure how much it is, it's close to $2,000.
You know I'm a dealer, right?
Oh, there almost went. Almost went down.
My buddy.
Okay. 16.
We'll see. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna skip over 17 and come back to 17.
Okay.
And then 18, we wanted to clarify if that was the only change. Okay, so on 18, we wanted to clarify on 18 if that was your only change on 1801D was or training sessions, or did you have, when you were saying no, were you saying no to A and B and also D?
I think it was just training.
Just removing training.
We were not in agreement with B.
Okay. Okay, so we
As
can
far-
expect a counter from you, or?
Yeah, we'll work on that. How about-
Okay. And do you want to tell us what the, I mean, just for conversation, I understand if you don't, but,
We were also not in agreement with 18.01 on here. I guess getting rid of the 3 hours compensation guaranteed for callback. Yeah, we think they should get compensation for callback. So that's the answer on that one.
Okay.
As far as, what was
It was
scratched through
also,
here?
it was also the semantics of the supervisors meeting where if they were noticed 21 days in advance, that would make it their regular scheduled work day for them to come in for that meeting, when in fact they're on a regular scheduled day off that day. So now we've noticed them 21 days in advance that you're going to come in, kill your day, and you're going to get hour for hour for what you come in. You're not going to qualify for the callback time.
Okay.
And we had had a long discussion about that prior to this, after it happened one time.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably D. I mean, I know the push for D was because we certainly don't want to get rid of the training, but yeah, just what he just said for D as well.
So are you going to, so then you'll bring back a counter then? Y'all will bring
Yeah,
that something
we'll
later? Okay.
for that.
All right, that's fine. I just want to make sure I understood what the concern was. Okay, 19.
Yes.
19? There wasn't anything to clear about there. I'm going to sign 20, whether or not you do.
Oh, we struck that.
I'm going to try and sneak it across the table.
Unfortunately, y'all do have to have the right to operate the business.
Oh, we do? Okay.
That way we get paid.
Can you speak to some people for me?
Okay, so salaries, 21. So 21's the one we're holding for that.
We're holding.
And then 22.
I think one of them's just like a scratch through or something, right?
I would say 21, what are we doing?
The salaries, so we're not.
They only have one question on it. They were good with everything except for the clarification on that. Okay. The time transfer. So we're holding this one.
Yeah, we're all 21. Make sure I got enough pages for 22. Okay, 22, okay. It's a lot of pages there, Lee. Oop, this is mine. Okay. So 23, we're going to work on language for you, okay? We'll work on the language for the options so that y'all know that the drop is, that way your employees would, your members would still have the opportunity to know it from your articles. That we will be following state law regarding drops. That way they are comfortable
Yes.
with that, okay?
Yep.
24. Okay. All right, 25. Okay. 26 we're good. Okay, not Before I go back to DLR, I want to talk about this. DLR 17. So, okay, you've got those two.
Yes.
So, I did just want, if someone wanted to talk to me a little bit about Appendix C on assignment pay, would any of you gentlemen like to just kind of talk to me about that, about I'm sorry, Lee, that's your call.
Oh, yeah.
If there's somebody
Why
you'd
don't we
like
let
to.
the camp
We were interested in going back to it as being a promotion status as opposed
Uh-huh.
to stipend pay.
Uh-huh.
So meaning that you get the promotion end of it, so it'd be, I think, I don't know, Commander, you can correct me, if it was a 15% raise for MCO, meaning that it was a promotion status, and I think 10% for jail correction officer.
Uh-huh.
We're interested in going back to that way as opposed to the stipend pay or the assignment pay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, currently, if they are on we have some that are grandfathered in that were placed on the road prior to this being done, so they're still on the 10% status. If they're a road officer, some of the medical guys, I think they're still on the 15%. I can't, I know.
We have, I think there's like maybe, I want to say like maybe 6 to 8 that officers that are on RCOs that are not on the raise, and I think there's maybe only one MCO that's not on. That's with the rest of them as far as them having that promotion status.
So this is an incentive.
Well, their fear is if they are pulled out right now off the road, it hasn't happened yet. Commander Snow's been pretty fair. But if they're removed off of the road right now, there is no grievance because you cannot grieve assignment pay. Where it was before, it was a promotional. Corrections officers were, I think the pay grade was 23. Or anyway, whatever the DBM was, which is very confusing.
We agree.
But their DBM was a A for an officer, a B for RCO, and a C for a medical corrections officer. It was 10% higher to be a road officer because you have to maintain several different licenses. You have to have your CDL, you have to have some construction knowledge and that kind of stuff. The MCO was brought up to 15% because they have to maintain their EMT license. And not only are they providing a service inside the facility of triaging stuff, if somebody is hurt on the road, then they respond out as a first responder to determine, unless it's a critical injury and they know immediately that somebody needs to go to the hospital. Then the MCO goes out, he makes a determination if they need to go to jail medical or if they need to go straight to emergency room. So a lot of responsibility on both of those guys.
Yeah, I think what some of them were thinking too is not an assignment, it's something that they do every day, day in, day out. It's not something that we just put there just for temporary.
Okay.
So then it would take a disciplinary action to move them, which would be a documented thing on their file where right now they can just, okay, tomorrow you're inside.
And you see
Just
the
guys
note at the
outside.
bottom where you're scratching through, and there's still guys in those positions getting that old promotional rate. Obviously, we wouldn't want that removed while there's still employees getting it.
Okay. All right, well, we're gonna go back and look at this one, okay? So we'll look at that one. And then, so on the DOR, I'd like for, if you want to, I'd just like to get some, some of the guys to kind of talk to me a little bit about the DOR. I think, maybe I should hear from you and then I'll kind of tell you what I was thinking about in regards to this. But so tell me a little bit about the DOR and what I understand you don't want it to go away, so y'all don't have to say that piece, I understand that. But just talk to me a little bit about the DOR, as far as something that is part of your current contract and your benefits.
I mean, it helps us currently recruit as well as coming to us, saying that you have a paid day off, including that, really does kind of help our recruitment side of it. It's a benefit, essentially. Some of these guys, that's the only day that they are getting off. There are certain shifts that are short-staffed. Our DOJ, we can go back to the DOJ, we're not even close to what they wanted back in 2012. In fact, we got less officers now than we had in 2012. So, it's a benefit.
Okay.
That's usually a day that those officers can take off. Some are currently coming in and working that day, and they get overtime for it. So, essentially, if we did away with it, we all pretty much know that the rule will be invoked of the, federal FLSA, where it'll be 171 hours. So we know that anything over 171 now will be considered overtime. Instead of currently, right now, we're about 160.
Okay, that's where the 11 hours is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had negotiated that down back,
Two contracts.
it's been a long time.
Oh, it's way on.
We started a corrections contract in 1994.
You're talking about the jail contract, not the road camp? Okay.
Yeah, no, this would be the jail contract. The jail didn't, or the camp did not come in till into the 2000s, but we became PBA in 1994 in the jail. And at one point in time, we had to take 4 hours off to get the entire 12-hour day. But there's a muster period that's required for shift meetings for everybody to come in. And under Sheriff Lohman, that's when we came about the full 12-hour day, rather than them to pay all the overtime for those 15 minutes for the past 3 years that they were liable for. They immediately gave us that DOR. And as I said, having worked in the jail for 29 years, having worked at the camp, worked inside and outside, and then worked at the jail, that day of rest is valuable. When I first went to work at the camp, we were 7 on, 7 off. And we had what we called a short day, which depended upon if you were nights or days. If you're nights, you got a little bit more because you had to come in on Sunday for visitation. So that was nice. But then when we came to the jail and we started getting the regular DOR like it is now, it was nice because we've gone through periods where it's feast or famine. We had plenty of officers, and then the field training officers were snowed with 2 and 3 trainees at a time. We're fixing to be inundated again, hopefully, if we can get the pay up, because corrections, DOC is going to get an increase this year. What it is, nobody knows until they send die at the Capitol. I mean, anybody tells you they know exactly what it's going to be, I tell people to run from them. But we have to do something to keep up. This is something that I know me and the chief are always going to agree to disagree on that one, because on paper it gives you an extra person. And I'll give you an example. Outside of corrections is the fire service. City Fire Department has a ISO rating of 1. On paper, they show 5 people a truck. When you watch them go down the road, there's only 3 people on that truck, because you always have somebody off on sick leave, always have somebody off on FML. Those are 2 things that you cannot, doesn't matter how many people you have, you cannot account for, because it's just going to happen. But for these guys to come on, some of your junior people are going to wind up never getting a day off if we go to the full 14 days they have to work and do away with the DOR. The county's going to wind up having to pay more money than they do right now, because you're going to wind up paying more overtime, because there will be people. And, I'm not going to say you're going to have a mass exodus, but you're going to lose people. They're going to go. You already have probably the largest turnover of any department in the county at the jail. And that's the beast of the thing. A lot of people don't realize what it is to have a door shut behind them and not be able to get out. And I get that. But to pump this up, we have to go up with pay, and we have to maintain the benefits that we have. We have fought this battle where everybody thinks that we can fix it with the DOR going away. DOR is a huge morale thing. That DOR goes, and it doesn't matter what we put in here, it's not going to pass. Not without about a $10,000 a year pay raise right off the bat. There are some people that will tell you that I would rather have comp time than pay. Then you have those that say, well, I won't pay instead of comp time. It's a myriad. Some people would rather have the extra time off if they have the availability to take it. Fortunately, with the county, they do buy down at the end of the year on those things. But that DOR is huge to these officers. Especially a young guy comes in, I'm just starting to work, I've got no leave. I'm looking at being 6 months before I can take any annual leave or sick leave. I got a DOR, I can plan a doctor's appointment on that day if I can't get it on my off days. Because, even though we're off, we're working 2 days a week and every other weekend's what the schedule essentially is, you can't always on a doctor's schedule get those appointments on those days. And it's just very important to this guy.
Okay. Any of you gentlemen want to say anything about it? I just want to,
Yeah. It's a recruitment tool, and it's nice to have that other day off to plan things. When staffing levels get back to where, they need to be, where leave isn't canceled, you can plan, and it helps the shift if you go, okay, I know my DOR's Tuesday day, I'll just take Monday off, and that way I can plan my vacation, so I'm not asking for a lot of extra days off. It kind of helps the shift out. But yeah, that DOR is a big deal. It really is.
well, so I think one of the things that we've hit on the head as we've been talking is just the level of staffing.
Oh, yeah.
And where the gaps are and things like that. And so I will share with you, one of my concerns about the DOR is I do think that does require us to bring other people in overtime, on some of those days. So, it would be great. Maybe having a new facility will be helpful to some of the recruitment as well, as we move forward from that perspective. But, I see every path and every employee action form, so I do know how many people are kind of churning through your department and things like that, and so I do understand. But I did just want to kind of hear from you about that particular day, so I understand, but, we may have, other options to present to you related to that particular, I hear what you're saying, but I still think I have an obligation to try and, bring maybe some options to you for consideration. But I had to try this first.
Sure.
And kind of see where we are on it, so, okay?
But you are familiar with the DOJ report as well from 2012?
I have heard about it. I have not read it, but I have heard about it, and so I'm aware of the staffing that was, in that as well. It would be speculation to say that EMS, fire, corrections, all of these different entities. I mean, we have issues even at the roads and bridges. I mean, I have 19 open positions right now for people that may or may not be able to get a CDL or, an animal control. So I could tell you in every department that we have, because of the compressed market that we have, the availability of talent in the market, I have an issue in almost every department for hiring. So I will tell you that.
And there's no disagreement with that. My thing is that we have mandatory things that we have to do. So if it's not done, then, somebody has to do it. Somebody has to come in and do it. So
Yeah.
the job will still get done. You're just going to do it with less people.
Yeah. Would anybody else like to share anything? Did y'all have anything else y'all wanted to share?
No, go ahead.
Well, did we cover this? The period of time was brought up.
Did you have anything else you need to clarify?
I wanted to go back to RV7.
Okay.
Yeah.
See if we can address.
Go ahead and bring it up. I don't think it was addressed.
Stricken.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's just.
Yeah, did y'all get a chance, you talking about the annual leave transfer? Were y'all able to find that?
Oh, okay, yes. It was between the classified and unclassified, so currently we don't actually have any language in our policies and procedures that allows the unclassified employees to do sick leave too.
Okay.
Yeah, we recently had some employees go to a different one, and so that's what we've been dealing with. So that's why we had seen it
Well, if you'd
recently.
like, we could bring you some language, because
It's at my department, it's at the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
We've had it for a long time. It was originally on this contract, but of course, when we had Turner and we went through our HR woes with him and that contract, when they came over, we kind of lost it in there, I guess. So we were fighting for too many other things that it may have slipped through the cracks. I would think parity would be one of those things you would want to be able to do, but we want to look at that. I'm also surprised that y'all didn't bring up the going to permanent shifts. I didn't see that as one of y'all's options in there. Any thoughts on that? You're fine with the rotating?
We've got too many other fish to fry.
Okay.
Plus that's with the managers, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. You have some employees that are on, and this may be a question for you, and I don't know if this is the setting for it, but you have some employees that you have put on a permanent midnight shift that are doing 5/8s, that transport team. You got 2 transport weekday, like Sunday through Thursday night, where they're working what? Yeah. And I didn't have a chance to go through your HR rules for this because I just found out about it recently. But as I recall, there was something in your HR rules about a shift diff that was already mentioned in there for employees working set hours after the late hours. I kind of want to say it was 200. And the only reason I know about it is I remember when I was going over y'all's contract to see what we could use for the sheriff's office contract and then checking your HR rules. I remember something about a $200 shift differential for midnights. We ended up actually incorporating
We
it.
don't have nobody that's on midnight.
We do.
Well, if you're working,
they do.
yeah, they're working 11 PM to, what, 7? And it's Sunday through, and you're fixing to lose one. I heard you're going to take one and put them back on days. Is that?
Yeah, we're probably going
Yeah.
to move them both.
Balance.
I mean, it could be viewed, we're probably going to move them
Right,
both today.
but they've been there since, what, 7, 8 months?
Probably 6 months.
Okay, 6 months. Kind of concerning. I just found out about it. I was like, whoa.
They've not been receiving shift differential?
I was about to say,
We don't know, so we'll have to look it up.
yeah, I'll have to look it up, but,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's one of those
I'll
things,
verify.
and I do believe it's in there. I want to say it was 200, and I've dealt with a bunch of different contracts, so maybe it's
I've never heard
not
of
there.
it, but-
Yeah,
Because we don't ask for shift differential for the shifts because they're working days one time and nights
Right.
the next time, so it
Yeah.
rotates and it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look,
I,
if you don't mind.
I do like the fact that you do have a transport team at night, because I felt like the whole was really the night transport and the weekend transport. And I don't think the weekend's been addressed, but the night at least will help out somewhat.
can I ask your
Sure.
opinion on the shifts? Because you were asking about permanent shifts. What particularly were you talking about? Like if you're all on days or if you're all on nights?
You know how they rotate?
Yeah, I do.
And to me, it's always been, when the sheriff's office did it, we went to 12s at one time, and I did it for a number of years. Loved the DOR, but we were permanent shifts. And I was lucky enough to have enough seniority at the time to get state days, so I worked my 6 to 6, and I was happy. But they rotated, and back in the day, we would ask, and everybody had been around for a long, long time, and they liked the rotating. But I had heard over the past few months that we have such a much younger crew that at times they would have liked and had a better home life if they were permanent some nights, some days. And of course, if you did that, certainly there should be some type of compensation for those that are just working straight nights. But I think it would spread out your shift a little bit.
Well, now, I will tell you, my mother was an ER nurse for 40-something years,
Yeah.
and she loved the 7P to 7A. Now,
Ooh.
that's the
Yes.
craziest time in the
Yes.
ER, and she
Yeah.
did it in New Orleans and Atlanta
Right.
and, California and other places, New York. But she loved that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there are people that's
Yeah.
a attraction for them.
they might pay me to let them do that.
But we have done surveys,
Uh-huh.
and the surprising part of it is you can never get enough people to commit to working, say you have AB rotation, you have CD rotation. We could never get enough people to commit to even staff A and B rotation
Okay,
on straight shift.
okay.
And we've talked about it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always been a point of contention, point of concern.
Right.
And I get it.
I mean, sleep patterns and all the negative aspects that come into play there,
It's got to be draining.
continuity of operations.
You're talking about the current schedule, you're talking about the way
Right.
that, yeah, I will tell you that it is a personal concern of mine for the health
yeah.
of the employees. Having family members, not my mother, but other family members that work shift work for many years, I've read studies about it, and so,
I think some people's concern, especially after just talking from camp,
Uh-huh.
that some don't want to be permanently on nights, and that's all they want to do. That's why some of them like the switching, and some of them complain about, and I get it, you always like
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that don't complain about doing work, but that's what you did too.
Yeah.
The day shift is complaining about doing all the work on day shift. I think they were more concerned about it maybe, I don't know. I think I've heard you say something about flip-flopping every 6 months or something like that, or every 3 months.
optional.
Or every quarter, yeah, all this
Yeah.
stuff to play with.
yeah, I do think, though, from a health perspective,
Yeah, terrible.
It is a healthy, it's a more healthy environment in terms of the person and their family.
Oh, yeah.
If they can set that level of expectation versus, kind of what I think what I think they might be experiencing now.
Right.
So that's just my opinion. I'm not the manager. I'm one person. But anyway, so that would be one of my concerns,
Yeah.
would be that, making sure that the health of our employees is
And the
probably.
biggest thing, again, with the DOR, throwing that back out there, obviously, it's not as busy at night as it is during the day. So we can usually give those people, try to schedule more DORs on the night shift, maybe be able to give them a day off. It's a benefit. Right now, the biggest thing is, pretty much everybody's working.
Yeah, I know.
When do we want to come back together?
Could I just address Article
Sure.
7?
Yeah.
See if we can address the question about the paragraph that was stricken at the very end.
Article 7.
Okay, you start from the top. There's the general reference to 112.532 and 533.
At the very top of the article.
Correct.
Sorry, let me get that.
7.01B.
Right.
112.532 is the officer's Bill of Rights. So 7.02 goes through the rights of the officer under investigation. So this is specific to 112.532.
Okay.
You go to
Okay.
7.02K, you see there that at the request of the officer, he or she shall have the right to be represented by counsel or any other representative of his or her choice who shall be present at all times during the interrogation, whenever the interrogation relates to blah, blah, blah. Well, that is a direct quote from 112.5321I, so that's in the statute. Then, if you continue on, you go to 7.03, and we get into the investigation of complaints. You go to 7.03C, there is mention in this paragraph, when requested, an officer shall be given up to, and we've agreed to 48 hours to contact, consult with, and secure the attendance of a PBA representative at the interrogation. Then, we move on to 7.04, disciplinary action. And come down to D, which was added.
So is D the new A, the new E?
The E's been pretty much referenced.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
7.04D.
Uh-huh.
And it states in that paragraph, the officer may request that a PBA representative, and I can add, or grievance representative attend the hearing. That's the disciplinary hearing. So this paragraph that was stricken stated that an officer may request that a PBA staff or grievance representative be present during any disciplinary investigation meeting in which the officer is being questioned relative to the alleged misconduct or during a predetermination conference. So I think we've got it covered.
Yeah, so I think I'm fine with that. When we were talking about it earlier, everyone was just saying the statute's referenced, and I just wanted this walkthrough.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
So we're good.
so I'm good with that. And then
Okay.
if we add
So we'll just renumerate the letter. Well, we do have to redo the letters because it goes from D to F to G. So we probably need to do, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll revise
Okay,
that,
so we'll
but-
just,
Revise it later.
okay.
Well, we have to add 48 hours.
Yep,
And I would just like you to add in D, the added language of a grievance representative, because that officer might not have a PBA representative.
okay. All right, so that, was there anything else you had, Kristen? Is that it? Chief? You okay? All right, so, we will have to get back with you on the dates.
These are the signed ones.
Yep.
Could I get copies of this as well?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
We will do it right, no, we're gonna do it right here.
Yes.
We are not gonna leave here without you having copies of this. Thank you,
And
ma'am.
you the only, or do I need to make more copies?
We'll scan it, we'll give him original, yeah, and then we'll scan it as well and make sure that you have a,
Unfortunately, in this one, I get to give them to her, and she gets to sing.
oh, good, that's good. So are you going to Tallahassee much during session for this?
Hopefully not. I have from Pensacola to Mariana,
Good.
and I've already done 2 internal affairs